Charita and welcome back to my channel MPH Capsule Talks. In the last two videos, we completed legislation related to women empowerment, drug abuse and child protection. So next category is related to occupational health. First is the Factory Act 1948. The Factory Act 1948 is a social legislation which has been enacted for occupational safety, health and welfare of the workers at workplaces. The main objective of the Act is not only to ensure adequate safety measures but also to promote the health and welfare of the workers employed in the factories. The Act provides that every worker who had been working for a period of at least 240 days during a calendar year shall be allowed during the subsequent year leave with wages at a rate of 1 day for 21 days worked in case of adults and 1 day for every 15 days work in case of children. The Act also took measures to ensure safety to the workers. Then, the provision of the ambulance room if the factory employs more than 500 workers. Then, canteens are to be provided in factories employing over 250 workers, lunch rooms, shelters and restrooms in those employing more than 150 workers. In every factories wherein more than 30 women workers are employed, there shall be provided and maintained a suitable room for the use of children under the age of 6 years of such women. The next act under this category is the Employees State Insurance Act 1948. It's an act to provide for certain benefits to employees. First is the medical benefits. This benefit is given to all employees and to his family members as well. Second is the sickness benefit. Insurable employees under the Act can draw cash benefits if they fall sick. This compensation is generally 70% of their wages during the period of sickness for a maximum of 91 days in a year. Third is maternity benefit. Maternity benefit is generally payable to all female insurable employees for 3 months in case of pregnancy. The compensation amount in such cases is a full wages amount of the employees. This is applicable only if the employees make a contribution for 70 days in the preceding year. Next is the dependents benefit. ESI benefit extends to their dependents as well in case of employee's death, which must occur in course of an employment injury or occupational hazard. This compensation is generally 90% of the dead employee's wages in form of monthly payments. Next is the disablement benefits. In case of an employee suffering from some disablement due to an employment injury, he can seek disablement benefits. Such disablements may be either temporary or permanent. If it's a temporary disablement, the compensation is generally 90% of the wage amount until the disablement continues. If it is a permanent disablement, the compensation amount depends on the extent of the injury. Coming to the other miscellaneous benefits which include funeral expenses. The dependents of the deceased employee receive Rs 10,000 for the funeral function. Next is a vocational or physical rehabilitation. It is generally payable to permanently disabled employees. They can avail this benefit for undergoing occasional or physical rehabilitation. Next category is related to other public health problems. First is the Disaster Management Act 2005. The Act provides for the effective management of disaster. The Act calls for the establishment of National Disaster Management Authority. This authority is responsible for laying down the policies, plans and guidelines for disaster management and to ensure timely and effective response to disaster. Any offences such as obstruction to the control of disaster, false claim or false warning will be punished with 1 to 2 years of imprisonment or without a fine. Next is the Food Safety and Standards Act 2006. This Act lays down standards and guidelines for consumer safety, protection of the consumer's health and regulations of the food sector. Food Safety and Standards Act receives approval on 23rd August 2006 and came into effect on 5th August 2011. It is a comprehensive legislation to the sector and includes all those existing acts and standards like Prevention of Food Adulteration Act of 1954, Fruit Products Order of 1955, Meat Food Product Order of 1973, Vegetable Oil Products Order of 1947, Edible Oil Packing Order of 1988, Solvent Extracted Oil, De-Oil Meal and Edible Flour Order of 1967, Milk and Milk Products Order of 1992 and also any order issued under the Essential Commodities Act 1955 related to food. This regulates the food sector by laying down guidelines and standards to be followed by the food businesses. The Act is helping in ensuring quality food to the consumers. It protects consumers' interests by prohibiting misleading advertisements and putting up penalties for adulteration. The next law under this is the Environment Protection Act 1986. The main objective of this act is to protect the environment and to prevent, control and reduce pollution and environmental harm. Offending any of the provisions of this Act can lead to imprisonment up to 5 years or a fine up to 1 lakh or both. So that's all for today. Hope this helped you to have a quick overview on the health legislations in India. Thank you so much for watching my videos. If you like my videos, please like, share and comment below your doubts and suggestions. Subscribe to my channel to see more of my videos. See you guys with another public health video. Till then, bye bye.